Okay, so this is an important section because it'll probably be some of the questions we will actually see in the interview. And this has to do with governance related and what that looks like. Mission and purpose, I think we should all be comfortable there. And there's those slides that we talked about that we can reference to. But the big things that jump out at me over and over is academic rigor, civic responsibility, social emotional learning, partnering with parents, diverse scholar populations. So those are kind of the big ones. And then we walk through our values there and what we hold dear and true. So just familiarize yourself with that. Kind of get that in your back of your mind. What's the big thing important for the board in upcoming year? Number one, hire the principal. And then the principal will go out and start doing all kinds of stuff. Number two would be getting out in the community and doing any kind of connections and any kind of personal connections with helping promote the school, get us going. And number three would probably be getting together on policies and trainings and just the functions of the board. And we'll provide a lot of that to you. And we'll just kind of go over and say, how do we want to handle X or Y or Z? There's millions of model Florida board policy things that we'll adopt and put in place so that the principal has an idea of what's happening and what your directions are. What role does the board have in financial oversight? And the answer would be the subcommittee is going to be doing a lot of the work. You set up all kinds of policies, cash handling policies. Again, those are model policies that will come your way. What can the principal procure or buy without approval from the board? Usually it's $5,000. Contracts, services. Big thing would be ethics here. Any board member that has any kind of a connection to the school would have to be recused or not voted on, and family members, those kind of things. So those would be your financial oversights. And then you have that quarter or end of year financial audit, and then the auditor gives you findings, and then it's the board's job to say, hey, we got to do this or that, and then that gets signed off on and sent to the state or the district. And then number four, do you have any finance committee? We do, and that'll be set up. And what's the role and the relation to the board? So the committee will kind of go through the monthlies, quarterlies, and annuals and do a report to the full board so everybody kind of understands what's going on. What are the organization's priorities for the upcoming year? What's the board's priorities? Again, startup year would be hitting financial goals, getting enrollment up there, getting a good staff, setting a good culture, getting all your policies in place, getting trained. Just the first year kind of things if those come up. Number six, how would the board monitor academic achievement? What internal and external assessments will you be using? So this is starting to get a little bit in the weeds for you all, but if you want to reference this plan again, there's an academic accountability committee. This is actually done at the campus level. The principal is the main person, and then all the leaders of the school itself. They're meeting and going over data, all kinds of stuff that's benchmark assessments. We're doing this thing called NWEA MAP, which is 12 million students around the country take this. And what it does, we do it quarterly. It's like a dipstick test to see where everybody's at. And it tells us what holes we have to fill in. So this committee takes a look at that dipstick and says, man, we got a problem in Susie Smith's class, or man, we got a problem across the whole school district or whole school. So they're making those adjustments and tweaks. And those problems usually are curriculum, assessment, instruction, or professional development. We got to train our teachers better. We have to slow down. We have to speed up. We have to bring certain things in. So there's this flow that's happening in academics. And that academic is reported to the academic committee. Usually it's one person that's kind of in charge there. And that would be probably Rob because he has the background there. And he would decipher and kind of ask the principal, what's the plan? If the board it's not meeting the strategic goal long term, he may say, well, we need you to come back with a plan at the next board meeting and blah, blah, blah. So that's the academic protocol, just so we'll hit it one more time. How do you know it's an academic success? The big thing would be cohorts. So we're going to look at the peer neighborhood schools in the beginning. And then over time, we've agreed to hit certain marks with the state of Florida and with the county, with the district. So we want to work towards being a top rigorous school. We want to be the academic place that does good things and is the top in the neighborhood and the marketplace. So, and how we organize, use data to make decisions, improve results. Again, back to that chart I just showed you, where your role is more oversight, and the school administration is more towards the execution and going forth and making the recommendations that you guys say. What tools do you use to measure, monitor performance? Again, that's right here. That benchmark assessment, 12 million kids, really good, accurate, really predicts what's going on at the end of year. We have a teacher pop-in thing, which is an observation tool where administrators, district staff, our team comes in and we're watching teachers and we're giving them constructive feedback. All that is put into a cloud so we get to see what's happening with our development of our teachers. We can cross-reference that with MAP data, the student data, so you can see if they're not instructing well and their data is low, we got a problem. We got an issue with the teacher that we need to then come around and do a little bit of professional development with, or work with them, or help with their instruction or process. So, or it could be global. Like I mentioned to you on the phone one time, we had a big problem with writing at the end of your test. So we came in and went and said, let's look at our curriculum, let's look at our scheduling, let's do professional development, let's get these kids writing more. So they started writing not just in English, but in history and science and everything. And all of a sudden, bingo, our writing scores went up. So that's kind of the game that's happening. And your role there is just to be listening in, making sure it's right, and holding that principal to task or to the goals that you guys set through. So that's that answer again, just to reiterate it. What's your organization's key planning year challenges, and how are you planning on addressing them? Students is the name of the game. And then plus you're in this weird COVID thing, so there's all kinds of things coming at us. So finding the right location, making sure we can build it on time and on budget, and then finding students and finding a good principal. Those are your kind of go-to answers when we get to number 10 there. Okay, so let's go.